Welcome back, fellow gamer. We have another deck tech. This time is for Vona, Butcher of Magan. So this is a general that's actually pretty interesting. When I saw this card, I didn't think I would be building the deck around this character at all. I was like, this is a good card to slot into the 99, but I'm not going to really use this as a commander. Here we are, and one thing I will mention is that this deck tech is definitely not geared towards competitive. It's pretty much casual, and like if you have a play group that has a slower meta, this will fit in just fine from my play tests. We'll see how it tests in the real world, and I would definitely love your feedback if you decide to build this deck. But without further ado, let's jump in. So the point of this deck here is to take advantage of Vona's ability, where she can tap. You're paying 7 life, and then you're destroying something. You don't really care about the destroying so much as dwindling your life down as much as possible, ideally in one turn. But you're going to be like, hey, this is a tap ability. How do we manage to do that? Okay, well, let's get into the nitty-gritty here. I am going to go high level over some of the cards. I will have a complete listing of the cards on Tapped Out that you can have a look at if you want to build the deck. That's going to be linked somewhere at the end of the video. So the way we're going to really dwindle ourselves down to close to as 0 as possible will be obviously using Vona's ability to pay 7 life and do this multiple times a turn. We're going to do this a few ways, but the most effective way is you need 2 other cards. One is Liquid Metal Coating, which will allow you to turn Vona into an artifact. And then you're going to use Voltaic Construct to untap artifact creatures. So you will untap Vona a few times. If you are at 40 life, you only need to do the ability 5 times. So that would be 10 mana for this ability. However, we would probably want to reduce the cost of the activated ability for Voltaic Construct. And that we're going to use Hearthstone. So Hearthstone will allow us to only pay 1. So if we're using Vona's ability 5 times, we'll need to untap Vona 5 times by paying 5 mana. I think that's a really good trade-off. That's not that steep of a mana investment. We will get into the mana curve later on. So that's kind of the way we're going to go. Now, I do like to include other methods of untapping. One is Puppet Strings, obviously Paradox Engine, which I feel goes in almost any deck at this point, and 1,000-Year Elixir. These are really good cards, and we wouldn't forget about Umbral Mantle. Umbral Mantle is a bit more expensive in terms of you're paying 3 to untap, but you're also giving Vona a +2/+2. So if you are able to eliminate a few of the blockers that are on the battlefield and then swing in with Vona, you might be able to do enough commander damage to win the game like that. And just swinging back on Paradox Engine, just casting cards, you're going to have a lot of mana rocks here, so that will help you out when I talk about your mana base and how to really manage the steep one-shot kill or one-turn kill that will require a lot of mana. So, moving on. Once you have your life total down to next to nothing, you'll try to play a card or play an ability of Magus of the Mirror, Soul Conduit, Reverse the Sands, and Access to Mortality. Access to Mortality is kind of at a weird spot because you have to wait till the upkeep. Not an ideal card, I think, to have in the deck, but I'm going to throw it in there because the ability to exchange life totals isn't as frequent as you would expect. So Magus of the Mirror, I think, would be the ideal card to pull. Yeah, he costs 6 mana, but you want him out there maybe the turn before. Or Soul Conduit. Again, 6 mana, and you just exchange the stuff. It's a 12 mana investment, whereas Magus of the Mirror is only a 6 mana investment. But again, artifacts will be a bit harder to remove on the battlefield, whereas Magus of the Mirror dies to a lot of stuff. So, looking at it, we have at best a 3-4 card combo, and might be more depending on how convoluted and how long the game goes, and that's not including your general. So tutoring is going to be very important for this deck. Thankfully, white and black have access to a lot of tutors, so we're going to throw those things up. So Weathered Wayfarer and Land Tax are going to be 2 real important tutors for specific lands or lands that you just want to be able to get out onto the battlefield to increase your mana base for that turn that you want to win. Once you are able to flip the life total, you then want to be able to finish them off that turn. So there are some cards that I would suggest, and you can do this by cards like Crypt Rats, Haunting Misery, Sickening Dreams, Exsanguinate, Death Grasp, and even Sorin Grim Nemesis is a pretty good one to use. There are a few other cards that you might want to think of, like Comeuppance is actually pretty good. If a player, you're in the middle of doing your whole combo, your life total is low, Player might try to do something smart. At that point, you play Comeuppance. If they're trying to do direct damage to you, it flips it back onto them. It's a really good card to spring at the last minute when you think you might have lost the game. Speaking of losing the game, you want to be able to protect your pieces on the battlefield as well as your life total. You're going to do that a few ways. Exquisite Archangel will prevent you from, in the middle of a combo, if a player tries to just flat out kill you as you've dwindled your life down, you'll at least be able to reset your life to 40. Now again, you don't want to give that player 40 life again. This will allow you to buy more time. 8.5 Tails will be able to nullify any threat that the player plays as long as you have the mana to protect your stuff. Mother Rune, same deal, you just need to tap. And Grand Abolisher prevents those shenanigans from happening on your turn as you are trying to win the game. So having Grand Abolisher out there will help prevent those last minute efforts from your opponent to try to thwart your plans. Obviously, I think Avacyn, Angel of Hope, is a shoe-in for most white decks. I don't really see a reason not to run her, especially in this deck. And then Platinum Angel, if ever you do end up losing your life, things don't go as planned, you can at least buy yourself more time with Platinum Angel. Finally, we'll touch just on the mana base, so I'm not going to go over every little bit of land or the mana rocks, but high level, you want a lot of mana producers. And as your land, you want to make sure you have Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, Cabal Coffers, and Magus of the Coffers. So these are cards that will allow you to pump out a lot of black mana. Increasing the amount of mana available to you is great. So there you have it. That's the high level stuff of what you should be playing in this deck if you're going to build it. It's my deck tech. I would love to know what cards I omitted from the list. What do you think belongs in here? Or if you've played this deck, let me know what you think. Is it complete trash? Or is it a deck that actually has a bit of potential? Let me know. I would definitely love to hear it. You can check out some of my other content on screen right now. And if you'd like to subscribe, it really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, good gaming.